Hey guys, happy Sunday. It's hot today. It is early afternoon. I have hopefully a couple of hours of peace and solitude. I do have a lot of work to get done. However, I also am sort of taking it easy this weekend. I went for a run today. I don't know if I told you guys that I'm running my first half marathon this year in September. Now, just to give you a little background, I was running pretty steadily in 2015, 2016. And through a series of unfortunate events, I haven't been running for a couple of years. I actually thought it was, I didn't realize that it was as long as it had been. But I checked my Runkeeper log today, and it was the end of April 2016 was the last run that I had logged in there, and it tracks all my miles and my pace and everything. And then 2018, so May of 2018, about a month ago, I jumped back on it. But I'm happy to say that I ran 3.5 miles today. It was 81 degrees at that point and pretty humid. After just a month of being back at it. So that's a big deal for me. I don't know. I've never been, I would say I've never been a good runner. In other words, it's never come naturally to me. I ran cross country in high school and I asked myself every day why. But it's something that I rediscovered in a couple of years ago, probably 2015, when it was that thing for me that was just for me, and where I could go off and do it and be, at least for that time, it would just be me focusing on myself, my thoughts, my music, just sort of, that alone time that's so important. Anyhow, as much as I hate running, I would love to Forrest Gump it, like East Coast to West Coast. I don't know if that will happen. I definitely have concerns about serial killers, but but I at least do have the goal of ultimately running an ultimate marathon, which there are varying definitions of that, but usually 50 to 100 mile runs. I would love to do a 100-mile run eventually. You're looking at 24 to 30 hours straight running, so that's pretty intense. But I'd love to train for it and do it. I feel like I could. For me, the distance is what I enjoy more so than the speed. But I have a tag for you guys today. Okay. Nostalgia for me typically brings up the 80s and 90s. That doesn't mean that every answer that I offer is going to be from that time period. It may be. But I wanted to ask 3 questions. Okay, so the first question is, I've noticed that I have a resistance to change. Speaking of changing, I'm going to change Ronan while we chat. I have a resistance to change. And when I talk about that in this tag, I mean specifically, I'm thinking about movies and TV shows, okay? So we're keeping it light. And I notice that I don't like when good things end. And it's not realistic or fair for me to expect the people involved in projects would just never ever move on with their lives. But I'm the kind of girl that could watch the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. So here's the first question. Name up to 3 movies and or TV shows that you wish would continue in a series or, sequels of movies forever. Like if you could put that time period of watching it in a bottle and just have it never die, what would those be? My first one is not from the 80s or the 90s, believe it or not. My first one that I'm going to say is The Walking Dead. I wish that we could just watch them survive forever. And I actually wish that we could go back to about season 4, to the cast in season 4, season 5. And and just watch that forever, and I would never get bored. The second answer that I'm going to give is what I believe we call the Brat Pack. I'm thinking of Andrew McCarthy, Judd Nelson, Molly Ringwald, Demi Moore, Emilio Estevez, those guys and gals. Breakfast Club, St. Elmo's Fire, About Last Night. Michael C. Hall's in there. Maybe I don't have the group Rob Lowe. Okay, so I'm also going to include in there Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles. Although 16 Candles was fantastic, it's not one of my favorites. But that whole set of movies when those guys were in their prime, if we could just keep cranking out those movies and just keep that, you know, like relevant forever, I would want that. And let's see. It's a tough one, and you notice I do my own tags much like I do other people's. It's on the fly. I don't plan my answers out. The third one that I'm going to say is Roseanne. Now hear me out. I don't agree with the statements that were made. I think that we cannot anymore in Hollywood act like bigotry, racism, sexism, all that stuff is okay and just ignore it. It's just those times are gone, and rightly so. But I'm talking about in, you know, the 80s, 90s, before what just happened. This outfit's going to be huge on him, by the way. This is a really cute outfit that June sent. It's going to be huge, but I really would love to see him in Frogs and Turtles. So, yes. So if the original Roseanne series could continue forever with Darlene being about, you know, between the ages of 12 and 17, and Becky, you know, 15 to 19, and so on, and Dan and Roseanne together, and that awful series ending never having happened, I would want that. And I'll tell you guys, like, that situation with Roseanne getting canceled, and because of these, you know, nasty comments that she made on Twitter and all of that, I really, like, it was a good opportunity for me to see the subconscious thoughts that happen, you know, like where I have room to grow, because it's not in any way condoning or not being against what she said, because it's awful. And I have family members that have been victims of racism and discrimination. So I certainly don't condone that. You know, I personally have seen it affect people that I love, that are in my family. And so, you know, I'm not brushing it off, but there was this part of me that just wanted it to not be true, wanted it not to happen, wanted to find a way to explain it. It didn't want to let go. And that's actually, that mind frame is what got me onto this tag of not wanting change. Okay, so that was the first question. The second question is, if you could rewatch one movie for the first time and never have seen it, because it's never the same again watching it once you've already seen it, what would that movie be? So you're going to watch it again for the very first time with new eyes. I'm going to give you one, and I'm going to give you one or two runners up. I think, unexpectedly to me, I think I'm going to go with Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. That movie was so unexpected. The first time I watched it, I had a little bit of fear going through the whole time. Like, I wasn't sure what direction the movie was going to take. I really loved that movie. Second, much less deep movie was Taken. I've said it out loud to Michael. Like, I wish I could watch that again for the first time. Taken with Liam Neeson. And the third one, the second runner-up is, actually the runners-up are in no order, is The Sixth Sense with Bruce Willis. And just in case anybody's never seen that, I won't say why. But it's never going to be the same after you've already watched it the first time. All right. Okay. The third and final question in this tag. Oh my goodness. I love him in this outfit. Thank you, June. He looks so precious. It's definitely big on him. It's 0 to 3 months, but I wish I had a frog for him. So the third and final question will be one of nostalgia, and it will vary the time frame because it's going to go back to when you were in your, impressionable, formidable years of childhood. For me, I guess I'm going to pick the preteen ages, preteen to early teen ages. I think that those are the most formidable years. The music from that time is solidified in my heart in a way that I can't rationally describe. My absolute head over heels fanatical love for Jordan Knight and Joe McIntyre and Donnie Wahlberg and Danny Wood and Jonathan Knight from New Kids on the Block. Nothing will ever match that love. So, question number 3. What iconic or memorable thing from your formative nostalgic years do you still wish you had? I've got a couple. However, my answer is going to be, okay, so there were these plastic necklaces, charm necklaces. The necklace itself was a plastic chain, and then you had all of these different charms that you could hang off of them. Anything. They were plastic. It was a plastic clip that would clip to the plastic chain, and it could be a pencil or a hamburger or a star or a mini trapper keeper, a turtle, a whale, anything. Some of them had googly eyes, some of them had bells, some of them were just nothing. And you would collect as many of those things as you could and hang them off of the necklace. Now, I did come across a post of that, and of course got it in my head that I needed to have it, and I went and looked it up, and I think I found one on eBay for like $200 or something, and it was just too ridiculous for me to, I didn't want it that badly. But I think that collection that I had would be the nostalgic thing that I would still have from my formative childhood years if I could have one. Okay, so I hope that you guys will partake in this tag. Just to recap, the first question is if you could name 3 or up to 3 TV shows and or movies that you wish would just continue on forever in their own little bottle, what would those be? Question number 2, if you could watch one movie again for the first time with new eyes, what would that be? And question number 3, if you could have kept one thing of nostalgia from your formative childhood years, what would that item be? All right, guys, thanks so much for stopping in. I can't wait to see if any of you partake in this tag or leave your answers down below. Either one's great. I hope you're enjoying your weekend. And thanks for stopping in and seeing this little cutie pie. I am loving him in this outfit. Super sweet. All right, guys, much love to you all. Until next time, bye for now.